last few days, I've had quite a few conversations about what you might know as the grief curve or the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross curve or the 5 stages of grief or the 5 stages of emotional response. And that is essentially the emotional roller coaster that an individual will go through when there is some change that happens in their lives. And I've been thinking about it for personal reasons as well as business reasons in conversation with colleagues. And I thought I'd probably show you what that looks like because we talk about it a lot, but I'm a visual person. So if you look at a change curve looking like that, you start from a little bit of a baseline where you might be in a little bit of disbelief about what is happening. Then you might be having some heightened emotion like anger. And then typically you would take a pretty steep plunge towards denial. And this is where some team member might check out, potentially exit the organization in some extreme scenarios. But then this is where it sort of lifts up a little bit and you start getting some acceptance, and eventually you start realizing that, you know, the change isn't so bad and we start getting used to it. So from a change management perspective, what you would want to try and do to support your team is, first of all, try to shorten this. So you might want them to do something like this, understanding that they will still go through this roller coaster, if you will, but what we can do is we can make it shorter and also not as deep and not as high in emotional extremes. The other thing that I find really, really important to remember about this is that the stages were never meant to be linear. So it's not like this is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3, 4, and 5. You might have a person start over here, then go back here, move here, get back, move on, get back, and then eventually, yes, this is eventually the exit, but there might be fluctuation both in terms of speed and in terms of order of the stages that an individual goes through. The last really important thing to remember is all of your team members will go through at different rates, and your leadership team as well, to a degree, will go through this at different rates, at different speeds. So it's important to remember not everybody goes at the same speed. A useful tip that I try to give business leaders, is to utilize this tool openly from the very beginning of a project. And when you have a meeting with your team members, actually put that on the table, put this curve on the table on a piece of paper and ask them to self-rate where do they think they are in the journey, and how can you support them at the place where they're at. So that's my quick tip. If you're going through a change or if you're about to embark on a change journey, look up this tool. It's a really, really useful tool. Talk about it openly with your team. Encourage them to self-assess when you have a conversation with them and see what you can do to help them at each phase of the journey.